Okay, so we've probably all seen it, right? A kid complaining about a stomach ache.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's right before school, or a big game, maybe even a party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any situation that feels a bit stressful for them.
Exactly. And then, poof, the pressure lifts, and suddenly the tummy feels fine.
Yeah.
It's a common thing. You hear about it a lot in Uganda, well, everywhere, really, especially with kids around, what, 6 to 12?
That's the typical age range, yeah. It can be really puzzling for parents, like trying to pin down something that keeps shifting.
Totally. So today, we're going to really dig into how a doctor, a thoughtful clinician, approaches this kind of recurring abdominal pain.
Right, because it's not usually about saying, oh, it's not real. It's about understanding something called functional abdominal pain. It's very real pain.
Functional abdominal pain.
Okay. Think of it like the body is trying to communicate something, and we need to figure out what that message is.
I like that. So we're sort of following the thought process of, let's call them the good doctor as they work through these cases. Because it's definitely not just a quick symptom check, is it?
Not at all. It's much more like detective work, piecing together different clues from the child's life and body.
Cool. So the goal here isn't just a list of do's and don'ts.
No, not really. We want to explore that really deep connection between a child's mind, their feelings, and what's happening in their gut. Hopefully you, the listener, will come away feeling, properly informed.
All right, let's jump in. The good doctor sees this child with the tummy aches. Where do they even begin? What's step one?
Well, the absolute first thing is safety. You have to rule out any serious underlying medical conditions. So the clinician filters for what we call red flag
Red
symptoms.
flags. Okay, what counts as a red flag here? What would make the doctor think, this might be something else?
We're talking about things like persistent vomiting, seeing any blood in the stool, losing weight without trying, or pain that's bad enough to wake the child up consistently during the night.
Got it. Those sound pretty serious.
They are. They point towards needing a different kind of investigation, likely something beyond just functional pain.
So if those specific red flags aren't there, what else are they looking at in that first pass?
They'll also want to see, normal results on basic lab tests, if any are done. And crucially, is the child growing properly, following their growth curve?
Okay. Growth is a big indicator of overall health.
It really is. And also checking if there's any family history of things like inflammatory bowel disease, IBD, or ulcers. If there isn't, that also kind of pushes the needle away from a purely physical, organic cause.
Right. So no major alarms ringing, tests look okay, kids growing, no family history suggesting other issues. That's when functional becomes a stronger possibility.
Exactly that. When those clear danger signs are absent, the doctor can start to think more about how the child's system might be responding to other things, like stress. It's a process of elimination, really.
Makes sense. So, okay, the serious stuff seems unlikely. What's the next layer? What patterns does the good doctor look for then?
Yeah, pattern recognition is key. They start looking for, well, recurring themes. When does the pain happen? How does it behave?
And what are the typical patterns associated with this stress-related functional pain?
You often see it triggered by stressful situations. School days are classic. Social events, tests, anything that ramps up the pressure or anxiety.
Okay. And conversely?
Conversely, the pain often gets better or disappears completely when the child is distracted, maybe playing, having fun, or during weekends and holidays when that pressure is off.
Ah, okay. So the timing seems linked more to the child's emotional state than, say, eating a specific food. It's like the body's reacting to the emotional climate.
That's a great way to put it. And another interesting observation, sometimes you might see other siblings in the house starting to complain about similar things.
Really? How does that factor in?
Well, it points towards that brain-gut axis we mentioned, but also maybe some learned behavioral components within the family environment. It's complex. Like, emotions can be sort of contagious sometimes.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just the individual kid, but the whole family dynamic might play a role.
It can, yeah. It just highlights how sensitive that brain-gut communication is and how shared experiences or stresses can influence it.
So red flags ruled out, patterns emerging.
Yeah.
Does the doctor just diagnose it then?
A really thorough doctor. No, not yet. The next step is crucial. Asking deeper questions. Going beyond just where does it hurt?
Okay, digging deeper. What kind of areas are we talking about now?
They'll explore the child's diet properly. Is it balanced? Are they getting enough nutrients? How's their sleep? Is it restful? Consistent?
Right, the foundations.
Exactly. And are there obvious stressors? Things going on at home, at school, with friends? They might even think about the gut microbiome, the balance of bacteria, and potential nutrient deficiencies.
And it's incredibly comprehensive. It feels like they're mapping out the child's entire world.
Pretty much. It can even touch on things like parental attention dynamics. Is the pain, maybe unintentionally, becoming a way the child gets more focus?
Oh, interesting.
The key point is this doctor is interpreting the whole context, not just the symptom. They're resisting that urge to just, write a quick prescription. It's about finding the root cause.
You keep mentioning the brain-gut axis. Can you break that down a bit more? How direct is that connection?
It's incredibly direct. Think of it like a highway, a constant two-way communication system between the brain and the gut. When a child feels stressed, anxious, or scared, the brain sends signals down this highway.
And what do those signals do in the gut?
They activate the nervous system in the gut. This can cause real physical changes, muscles cramping, digestion slowing down, or even making the gut lining more sensitive so normal sensations feel painful.
Wow. So stress isn't just in the head, it physically changes how the gut works.
Precisely. And it often creates this vicious cycle, right? Stress causes gut symptoms. The gut symptoms then make the child feel more anxious or worried about the pain, which then feeds back and can make the gut symptoms worse.
A feedback loop. That makes sense.
Yeah, like a snowball rolling downhill.
And you mentioned before that sometimes this can become almost social or behavioral. How does that work?
Yeah, it's fascinating. Imagine a classroom where maybe one child is vocalizing their stress through tummy aches, the shared anxiety, the emotional cues. Sometimes other kids, quite unconsciously, can start to experience similar physical feelings. It's not faking it.
It's more like mirroring.
Kind of like mirror stress,
Yeah.
yeah. Or shared emotional contagion triggering a similar physiological response, like how one person yawning can set off others.
That's wild. So the environment really matters.
Absolutely. It emphasizes why looking at the child's whole social and emotional world is so important.
Okay, another factor the good doctor might consider is magnesium. Why magnesium, specifically with stress and tummy pain?
Well, magnesium is super important. It acts a bit like a natural calmer for the nervous system. It helps regulate nerve signals, muscle function, including the smooth muscles in the intestines. And it's involved in how our bodies manage the stress response itself.
So if a child doesn't have enough magnesium, what could happen?
Their nervous system might be more easily sort of wound up, more reactive, and their gut muscles might be more prone to spasms or cramping.
And is deficiency common?
It can be, unfortunately. Modern diets sometimes fall short, and soil depletion, even in places like Uganda, can mean less magnesium in the food to begin with. It's like trying to run a car smoothly with low oil.
So the doctor's connecting biology, magnesium's role with the environment, like soil quality and behavior, like anxiety levels.
That's the holistic view, exactly. It's where experience, pattern recognition, and understanding the body's mechanics all come together, seeing the bigger picture.
And if they suspect low magnesium is a factor, what's the next step? Supplementation?
Often, yes. Magnesium glycinate is frequently a good choice.
Why that specific form?
It tends to be much gentler on the digestive system than some other forms like citrate or oxide, which can sometimes cause loose stools. Plus, glycinate is well absorbed, and the glycine component itself has calming properties for the nervous system, so it targets anxiety too.
Okay, gentle and effective. What about dosage for, say, a 10-year-old? How would the doctor guide that?
They'd likely start low, maybe one capsule providing around 200 milligrams of the magnesium glycinate compound, which translates to roughly 24 milligrams of actual elemental magnesium.
Elemental magnesium, that's the important number.
That's the amount the body can actually use, yes. So maybe one or two of those capsules a day, taken with food. The general upper limit for that age is around 240 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day, so it stays well within safe limits.
And the strategy is?
Start low, go slow, observe carefully. How are the bowel movements? Is sleep improving? Are anxiety levels changing? And of course, is the pain frequency or intensity reducing? It's about fine-tuning based on the individual child's response.
Very measured. Okay, what about food sources, especially thinking about Uganda? Can diet make a difference?
Absolutely. There are some great local sources of magnesium. Groundnuts and peanuts are good. Sim, which is sesame seeds. Dodo, those amaranth leaves. Beans are fantastic. And millet, too.
All common staples. Do they provide enough on their own?
Well, that 10-year-old needs around 240 milligrams of elemental magnesium daily. It's often hard to consistently hit that target just through diet alone, especially if the soil isn't rich in magnesium.
So the idea is?
Combine things. Aim to include maybe 2 or 3 servings of those magnesium-rich foods each day, and then use the magnesium glycinate supplement to kind of bridge the gap and ensure they're getting enough overall.
Makes sense. Diet plus targeted support. Now, probiotics often come up for gut issues. How do they fit into this doctor's approach?
Probiotics can be really helpful here. Specific strains, particularly from the Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium families, are known to help calm the gut lining.
How do they do that?
They can reduce inflammation, help rebalance the gut bacteria, the microbiome, which, as we know, can get thrown off by stress. They basically support a healthier, calmer gut environment.
Is it a quick fix? When would you expect to see results?
Definitely not a quick fix. You need patience with probiotics, maybe some subtle changes in 2 to 4 weeks, but you really need to give it a good 6 to 8 weeks of consistent daily use to see the main benefits.
6 to 8 weeks. Okay. Any tips on taking them effectively?
Yeah, usually it's best to take them about 30 minutes after a meal. The food buffers the stomach acid, helping more bacteria survive the journey. And definitely avoid taking them with very hot food or drinks, and keep them separate from antibiotics, usually by at least 2 hours.
So it's a longer-term investment in gut health.
Exactly. The good doctor knows that changing the gut microbiome takes time. It's not like flipping a switch. They'd advise parents to stick with it and then reevaluate after that 6 to 8 week mark.
Okay, we've got magnesium, probiotics, diet. Any interactions to be aware of when combining these?
Good question. Taking magnesium glycinate with foods rich in vitamin B6 can actually help with absorption. Think bananas, avocados, even peanuts again.
Helpful synergy.
Yeah.
Anything to avoid combining.
Generally, try not to take magnesium supplements at the exact same time as very high-dose calcium or iron supplements, as they can compete a bit for absorption. Spacing them out is better.
Okay. And pairing with meals.
Yeah, taking it with a balanced meal containing some complex carbs, healthy fats, and protein is ideal, like maybe some millet porridge with sim stirred in and a banana on the side. That helps absorption and is gentle on the stomach.
Great tips. Now, beyond the supplements and food, you mentioned the nervous system being key. What else does the good doctor bring in?
Breathing techniques. This is huge because remember, pain perception is heavily influenced by how the brain interprets signals from the gut.
So, changing our breathing can change how we experience gut sensations.
Absolutely. If you can calm the nervous system through breathing, you can reduce that overreaction in the gut. You're essentially telling the brain, hey, things are okay. You don't need to sound the alarm so loudly. It's powerful stuff.
What kind of breathing exercises are we talking about? Things kids can actually do.
Yes, definitely. 3 simple ones are great starting points. First is belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing.
How does that work?
You teach the child to breathe in slowly through their nose for about 4 seconds, really feeling their belly push out gently, not just their chest rising. Then breathe out slowly through their mouth for about 6 seconds. Doing this for 5–10 minutes daily can make a big difference.
Okay, slow belly breaths. What's number 2?
Box breathing. It's very rhythmic. You inhale for 4 seconds, hold the breath gently for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold the breath out for 4 seconds. Repeat that cycle maybe 5 times.
The structure seems like it would be calming in itself.
It really can be. And for younger kids, say 5 to 10 years old, the flower and candle breath is lovely.
Flower and candle.
Yeah, you have them pretend to smell a beautiful flower, a slow, gentle inhale through the nose. Then pretend to blow out a birthday candle, a long, slow, steady exhale through the mouth.
That's really visual and playful. I can see kids engaging with that.
Exactly. The key with all of these is consistency. Daily practice, maybe even twice a day, like before school and at bedtime, helps retrain the nervous system over time.
It's like exercise for the nervous system.
That's a perfect analogy. And the good doctor's insight here is profound. If I calm the nervous system, I calm the gut. Often, there's no need to jump to stronger medications. Breathing is medicine here.
Wow. Okay, so the parents. This sounds like it requires a lot of parental involvement. What's their role?
They are absolutely crucial. A huge help is simply tracking things. A simple weekly log noting pain levels, bowel habits, mood, sleep quality, and any noticeable stress triggers.
That gives everyone objective information to work with.
Precisely. And then consistency with the plan, gentle reminders for the magnesium or probiotics, encouraging the breathing practice without making it a battle.
And what about that potential sibling mimicry you mentioned? How should parents handle that?
Gently. Teach all the kids simple emotional regulation skills, like the breathing. Make sure attention is given fairly, not just focused on the child with the symptoms. Avoid reinforcing the pain behavior unintentionally.
Okay. And how should they talk about the pain itself?
Try not to dwell on it constantly. Acknowledge it, but shift the focus to coping strategies and the positive steps being taken. And crucially, reassure the child
Reassure them how?
by saying things like, I know your tummy feels real pain, and we're working together to help it feel better. Avoid anything dismissive like, oh, it's all in your head. Validate the feeling while empowering them. The doctor here is really coaching the whole family.
It really is a team effort. So if we were to summarize this whole thoughtful approach into a practical plan.
Okay, yeah. It boils down to maybe 5 core parts. 1, magnesium glycinate, probably 1-2 capsules daily with food based on age and tolerance. 2, probiotics, specific strains taken daily after meals for at least 6 to 8 weeks.
Got it. 3.
3, intentionally include those magnesium-rich Ugandan foods, groundnuts, dodo beans, millet, mix and match them daily.
4.
4, breathing exercises.
Yeah.
Daily practice, aiming for twice a day, maybe before school stress hits, and again at bedtime to wind down.
And the 5th part.
5, track and encourage. Use that symptom log calmly, maintain a supportive tone, and gently reinforce the child's efforts with the plan. Consistency and encouragement.
That's a really clear, multi-pronged strategy. It really shows how much thinking goes into what might seem like a simple complaint.
Exactly. It's not about flashy tests or quick fixes. It requires, as the good doctor might say, slow thinking, contextual care, and watchful attention. Paying attention to the biology and the emotions, the child and their environment.
Seeing the whole person, the whole picture.
That's the heart of it. And this whole issue of functional abdominal pain really drives home that lesson. You can't separate the mind, the gut, and relationships if you want to achieve deeper, more meaningful health. They're all connected.
So wrapping up our deep dive today, it's clear this isn't just a tummy ache. It's this complex dance between the brain, the gut, stress, diet, nutrients. So many factors.
Absolutely. And the way the good doctor approaches it, that methodical, holistic way, really underscores how vital it is to connect physical symptoms with emotional well-being in children. It's about addressing the roots, not just the surface.
It definitely makes you think, doesn't it? How often do our own physical feelings maybe connect back to stress or emotions? It's something for all of us, you listening, to maybe reflect on in our own lives, how that mind-body connection plays out for us.